Princess of Cups could be a separate person, or it could be somebody from this group over here, this fiery energy that wants to rush forward to a very stable, mature, grounded person who's in some sense of authority or in control of their domain. Not quite the emperor, but it is one of the top kings, right? And you have to be all 4 kings to be an emperor. And we do have 2 kings here so far. You get the feeling there might be some conflict between this King of Pentacles and King of Wands because they're diagonally across from each other on these 12 card, 4 rows, 3 rows, 4 across each row. I say that because with the 7 of Wands between the Prince of Wands and the King of Pentacles, and then there's the Hangman in the middle, there's the 4 swords next to the King of Wands on its side. It seems like some kind of pause or standstill with this situation is about to end. And this is the truth. We have the Ace of Swords after the 4 swords on its side. I feel like this Princess of Cups for this group, whoever this is more of an idea. This could be, for those of you that are from the last reading or 2 that are working on something, this has to do with some kind of, it might be the first steps to your plan. I did mention that it was time to ground your plan in the last reading. And it's interesting because the King of Pentacles is the ultimate grounded figure in the tarot, right? Perhaps you found a creative way to bring your plan into another key player that can actually ground it. Or perhaps, and I just got chills on the right side of my body, so the masculine side, that this is the Queen of Pentacles from the last reading that just graduated to King of Pentacles. Now that's interesting because we were talking about the Queen of Pentacles graduating to the Empress for some of the people in the group, okay? But I'm picking up that it's possible that whoever this Queen of Pentacles was from the last reading, whatever downloads you got from that helped you graduate to a higher level of security. And I get the feeling that you received what you needed to clear any doubt. One of the side messages was talking about how you needed to have clarity, right? And it looks like there are these other energies over here. Now I don't know if the whole reading is going to be about this. Someone wants to speak up about it. There's still decisions to be made and serious forward action to be taken. But yeah, the 7 of Wands, that's like defending or being protected or blocking something. It also represents skill and agility. Also in the last reading I mentioned that the Queen of Pentacles may be able to graduate to Empress by delegating. It's possible that this Prince of Wands is the one you are delegating to. If it is the same energy, I feel like for this particular group it is. So it seems like if you are a part of this group from before, you've entered the next stage of your plan. Also for this King of Wands, which represents the collective as a whole, which is perfect. Yet again, that is the card of Leo. It's also representative of Aries and Sagittarius, the other fellow fire signs. But we are in Leo season. It is still in the energy of the Leo new moon. Again, if this is a different time that you're checking out this reading, the energy of something when you do it carries on in that body of work. It's like infusing an ingredient into something. It lingers in the final product. for those of you that like to slow cook, you know that's the way you really get things to last longer and taste more excellent, is by slowly marinating in them, right? So the astrology of the moon at the time of each reading is the energy that the collective is feeling, right? So yeah, that's why we are strongly all experiencing this Leo energy, not just being in Leo season now, but the Leo moon, right? And it's interesting that we were talking about group dynamics last, because of course that means we are in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the polar opposite sign of Leo, right? And Pluto is the planet of expansion as far as transformation goes. Life, death, rebirth. Okay? And we were talking about with the King of Wands in the last reading that it's possible for some people in that group, and that energy that we talked about was going through another ascension process. And there were concerns about, can I handle leading these other people? And of course we said, of course you can. You're the freaking King of Wands. And the only other person that could handle it, other than an emperor, of course, is the Queen of Wands. And here we have the Queen of Wands. So it looks like you either gained more support, possibly for some of you from a divine counterpart. This could also represent a sibling or somebody at the same level of status or expertise as you, but a more feminine aspect, so a more receptive aspect. It's very interesting. I feel for some of you, and I'm getting chills all up my back right now, so yeah. This is about alignment and ascension, and it's possible that for some of you, you were able to get out of your feelings. You know, Five of Cups often represents feelings of despair and lack and regret and loss, and being kind of stuck in them, right? Well, the Queen of Wands is a more feminine, nurturing, receptive version of the King of Wands. So it's possible you were able to soften. I know we mentioned that the King of Swords in the last reading might like to soften more. Perhaps you picked up some knowledge from that. Or it's something that anybody this really applies to right now. You're understanding that perhaps to get through whatever this graduation is, whether it's energetic, spiritual, it's with a group, it's with a work situation or personal dynamics, or dealing with other people in your life, you realize that it's not you're not losing your leadership by being receptive, feminine, and sitting back. I think we talked about that too. We also talked about the Sword of Truth, and we talked about how you want to operate and how you want to present what you have. I think we're going to veer out of that energy. That might have been a side message for somebody. If you did have the courage, which Leo rules is courage and bravery in the evolved form, then congratulations for your bravery. Dealing with one's feelings can be very difficult at times, but I promise you, the more you emotionally regulate, the easier it becomes, and the less shame you feel, because you understand yourself better. You're able to give yourself love more. There's some kind of truth here that someone's been seeking clarity on, someone's been asking for guidance, and it's a truth that you're fighting for. This feels like a different message, but we're going to see where we go. I don't really feel any conflict with any of these people in this group, whoever this is referring to, or these other people in your life. If it's not about a group and it's about your individual journey, again, this is an objective message for the collective, but it can be subjectively applied to each and every one of you. So take it how it resonates and leave the rest behind. There's somebody here who's like taking a moment to make a decision on something, some kind of journey, some kind of quick forward movement. Yeah, especially with the Chariot across next to the Hangman and then the Two of Swords to the left of that. It's like someone's not sure if they want to proceed full force yet on something. I really do feel like this King of Pentacles is kind of, if it's not the Queen of Pentacles taking a more masculine assertive form, it's a kind of an outside party, or it's if it's in reference to the King of Wands, which is the primary energy here, it's somebody that has just as much status as you, but handles things in a more grounded, down to earth, like intentional way. Okay, let's pull some more cards and see what else comes out. Before I get into the full energy of that next part of the collective, I want to see if Spirit has anything else to add about the King of Wands and their ascension. For those of you that are following along, let's see what we have for you. Ooh, okay, well we have the Eight of Cups, which is interesting because we were just talking about how the Five of Cups in reverse is getting out of your feelings. So perhaps you did so by realizing you needed to walk away from something. What is it that this King of Wands either walked away or is about to or needs to walk away from, Spirit? The Princess of Swords. This could either be behavioral patterns, or it could represent a younger person, somebody a little bit more detached, somebody who's more of like, it could be a younger person, and the King of Wands could represent an older person, or it could represent a student or a way of thinking. I kind of feel like it's a way of thinking. Perhaps you walked away from a way of thinking, or of perhaps you feel like you've studied enough on something and it's helped you move forward. Perhaps you were kind of stuck in analyzing things in your head, which again, if you are one of the people from the group that decided to move into your feminine nature more, it's possible that you realize that you had to stop controlling every detail and start receiving spiritual insight. So no longer trying to dictate through perhaps obsessive thoughts. Interesting. Two of Wands. Yeah, this is about taking action on a path, a portal, making another decision. Now we have 2-2, Two of Wands, Two of Swords. Could be a synchronicity. 22 is one of the numbers of mastery, by the way. And then that breaks down to 4, which is of course the number of foundations. And we have the Four of Swords on its side. So there could still be a little bit of a wobbly foundation. And it was not easy for you to make this decision. But you have already set some intentions here, and you're already taking action on them. So then I feel like the Two of Swords energy is something or somebody else in the mix. What can you tell us, Spirit, about the Two of Swords? What does that represent? Who's making a decision, or who's blocking something? Ace of Wands. Wow. Chills on my legs. Somebody wants to take quick fiery action towards something, but it's something they're either blocking, or they feel like they don't have enough clarity, or they could be waiting for guidance from spirit in order to make a decision. That actually feels right. I feel like whoever this represents, it doesn't necessarily have to be the King of Wands, it could be somebody else. You feel like you want to take this hot new beginning, which is a gift from spirit. It is a very passionate new beginning, and that could be with a person, it could be with this project, it could be with something else in your life that sets your soul on fire. Okay? And it's a blessed opportunity. It's a new path ahead. This could also be travel. Interesting. We just pulled the Prince of Swords. Now, the Prince of Swords was also in the last reading. They kind of represented a messenger for the Empress. I don't feel like it's the same energy. I feel like this is more you wanting to move quickly, whoever this energy represents that we're talking about now. It represents you knowing what you want to say about something, knowing that how you want to start this new beginning, but you're still at a pause. Perhaps you're waiting for the retrograde to end, which, by the way, August 10th is when it officially ends. But if you want to be extra cautious, wait till the 17th, which is close to the end of the post-shadow, when the planet is quicker and it's more up to speed. Three of Pentacles. For some of you, this is about a work collaboration. You want to build something with somebody else, or you already started building something, and this is a new endeavor for you. And you have a lot of plans you want to execute. Shoot, I don't know, will the algorithm ping me for saying that word? Oh well. Alright, so Three of Pentacles. Yeah, for some of you, this is about this project, this group dynamic that perhaps you've just decided to be more receptive during the retrograde. And for some of you, I feel like you're waiting for some kind of answers from spirit. So let's see if spirit, and I just got chills on the left side of my body, which is the feminine receptive side. It seems like we are ready to receive some guidance from spirit. Okay, spirit, for this hot new beginning, this beautiful new opportunity. It seems like this person knows what they want. It seems like they know what they're building. It seems like they're ready. So what can we give these energies as far as your advice or any signs, synchronicities that you can ping for them? Two of Cups. My goodness. Okay, for some of you, this is a love offer. And if you were wondering if it's worth it, Spirit's saying yes. Two of Cups is like, it's like the ultimate divine union. And for some of you, you're already in that with the Queen of Wands down here. For those of you that the Queen of Wands represents a family member or a partner, this could be about new ideas on how to wake up the relationship, right? Especially with the Ace of Wands, you want to communicate better. You want to go towards this deeper love. And if it's possible it could also be, I don't have the Six of Cups here, but I feel like somebody from a past life or somebody from your past. No. Eight of Swords. It's not that. It's not anybody from your past. You're not interested in getting stuck up in your head about people from the past anymore. Yeah, Three of Swords. Heck no. Tech no. That's the broken-hearted betrayal card. We are not thinking about people of the past with this group. Good job, y'all. Good job. I know retrogrades can be tricky with that, but because people tend to creep back in around retrogrades. So if you're wondering about confirmation, for those of you that this is about a union, a partnership, or someone you want to create something with, Spirit's telling you that it is indeed a deep connection that is worth going towards, working on, collaborating with. And if it's not romantic love, perhaps it's a union, a partnership within yourself. Like if you're wondering, am I ever going to feel whole? Am I ever going to love myself enough to be able to fulfill my dreams? They're telling you yes. And this stuff from the past, because we were talking about the past when these kind of negative swords cards came out, it's also confirming for those of you that are thinking about someone from the past, knock it off. These are not cards you want. Like if the Ten of Wands came out, that would be even, oh yeah, Seven of Pentacles instead. You've had enough patience, you've invested enough with the past for those of you that are thinking of the past, so keep on moving. So the next card over on top of this pile is the Chariot. Moving towards something, and it's been a journey, whatever you're moving towards. What are we moving towards? The King of Swords. Interesting. We now have the Princess, the Prince, and the King of Swords, plus the Ace of Swords. Let's not forget that. For some of you, this is about speaking your truth, being integral, being clear, concise. Perhaps for some of you, you've been investing in communicating. Perhaps you've been learning how to do that better. For some of you, it could be talk therapy, which as an advocate, I do talk about these things sometimes. There's nothing wrong with speaking to a professional, in my opinion, as an advocate and somebody who has invested in therapy in the past myself. It's great to have somebody be able to emotionally support you and perhaps give you some tools that you didn't know were available. For those of you that aren't interested in one-on-one communication or therapy, we've been talking about support groups off and on. I think I mentioned that somebody in the collective was thinking of starting a support group, and I felt very strongly in the last reading that it was a support group for veterans. So if you have returned, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. King of Swords. King of Swords was a very controversial figure in the last reading. Again, I think I mentioned at the beginning of this reading that I felt like these two were linked. So there's going to be a lot of crossover because there's still a lot of energy lingering around it. But there's other energies here too. I just don't want to be here reading for 3 hours. So we're going to see where we go and where we don't. So like I don't want to get too much into the past. It's always good to keep moving forward, especially with this Chariot card. So whoever is thinking about this, whatever they're investing in, King of Swords, I do feel like this more represents communication. And for a small group of you who caught the last reading, again, feel free to check it out in the playlist. There's the shorter versions as well. It seems like for some of you, you've decided to move towards and invest in this King of Swords. So depending on what facet of the King of Swords, only you will know. Or, I mean, you're welcome to share in the comments your situation if you feel comfortable. I do ask that everybody try to keep it more balanced here, but you know, this is a community. We support each other here, and I do appreciate the engagement. I do read every comment. So for some of you decided to work with this King of Swords, collaborate after all, and again, depending on if it is the shadow or light, I cannot say. Could ask Spirit though, but I don't feel like I really need to go down that avenue. I will say though, we now have 3 out of 4 kings. So this is like almost emperor level. If we get the 4th king, that's spectacular. I don't know if y'all know, but it's not super common to get 4 of all the suits, whether that be aces or the court cards. It's pretty impressive actually. When you get the more major arcana in your readings, that means it's either more powerful people, and by powerful, I mean the energy signature is more potent, possibly more spiritually evolved in some sense, or a level of status that is impressionable upon people around you. and take that how it fits in your life, because different people have different values and different ideas of what success is, and there's different societies, you know. Speaking of Aquarius and Pluto and transforming through these humanitarian causes and whatnot, King of Swords is Aquarius. It's also Libra and Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. So yeah, I did mention in the last reading about reviewing. That's one of the great things you can do during a retrograde. So perhaps some of you did take advice and revise your plan for this project or this move you're headed towards. Let's get a clarity on this. The Magician. Speaking of Gemini, I love it when I psychically pick up on the cards before I pull them. Yeah, when I start doing video form again, which I will be doing sometime after the retrograde every now and again, it'll be fun to see the cards again, especially with my new edition. Prince of Cups. Some of you want to communicate how you want to create more love and offer it to others. And perhaps it's through this creative project or this new path. Because the Magician has everything available, all the elements. And we were also just talking about how it's rare to have all four elements of one's, you know, like all four kings or all four aces. And the Magician represents all four elements. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I feel like you're creating something new here that's very creative. And for some of you, this is about a love offer, which the Knight of Cups tends to be. This card is also a very Scorpio representation. And I was thinking how the only king we didn't have here so far is the King of Cups, which represents Scorpio typically. It can also rule Cancer or Pisces. And then we pull the Ten of Wands. I was talking about earlier, but it's in a different group here. So like, I feel like some of you have closed out some kind of burden. You put some kind of burden down, or you've just come through something. And perhaps it helped you see how you can be more creative in the way you manifest in your world. And things that were possibly this is something that you were walking away from, as we had the Eight of Cups underneath the King of Wands here, as to something you realized. Here. Yeah, Ace of Cups. Wow. Okay, now we have 3 of 4 aces. This is so cool, y'all. Like, if we pull, oh wow. Okay, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but that's so cool. This is this is strong new energy. Wow. Ace of Cups is a blessing of divine love, either with yourself, self-love. It's from spirit, or it could be somebody else. And we were talking about giving your cup of love to something. And again, that could be a project. It could be a group. It could be a family. It could be a person. It could be yourself. It could be with spirit. But it seems like I put the Ace of Cups over the Eight of Cups here. So it's like perhaps you've just decided to walk away from anything that was burdensome and did not fill your cup. And you poured back into yourself. If so, good job. Good job.